Good evening, everyone. It's Steve Lookner with Right Side Broadcasting coming to you with some breaking news. Andrew McCabe, the former deputy director of the FBI, who was scheduled to retire just 2 days from now from the FBI, his 50th birthday's on Sunday, he was going to retire on Sunday, has been fired by Jeff Sessions tonight. So Andrew McCabe out at the FBI. He had already stepped down, I believe several weeks ago it was, as deputy director, but he was still technically an employee of the FBI who was planning on retiring officially on Sunday. But he was fired by Jeff Sessions tonight. That means that it looks like he's not going to get a fair amount of his retirement pension. I've seen it quoted as saying like a lot of his retirement pension he might not get now. And McCabe released a pretty angry statement about this tonight, so we wanted to catch you up on all of this. First, let me summarize what's going on. I'm going to read you a couple stories about what's going on, but also the basic reason technically he's being fired is that there is going to be an internal a report coming out soon that says that's about an internal FBI investigation. And in that report, it reportedly says that Andrew McCabe misled investigators about a case where he authorized FBI employees to talk to the media. And the idea is that he wasn't supposed to authorize them to talk to the media because it was about an ongoing investigation, and there was some classified info revealed, and he reportedly is going to be accused in this upcoming FBI report of misleading investigators in terms of answering questions about whether he authorized these FBI employees to speak with the media. But anyways, the bottom line is that he has been fired tonight by Jeff Sessions, so he will lose apparently a lot of his retirement pension, and he was only supposed to retire 2 days from now on Sunday. So, excuse me, I've been a little ill lately, so I have a little bit of a cough, so I'll do my best not to cough during the broadcast. I'm gonna read you some stuff, catch you up on the details, and then we're gonna take your comments about this on the air. So you can write to me at @Lookner on Twitter, We got a donation. Thank you. Rob O'Cray made a donation and said Q was here and McCabe is gone. Thank you, Rob. We are viewer supported, so your donations are what keeps us on the air. So we really appreciate the donations. So let me get into the details here. I also want to get you the McCabe. If I can get you the McCabe statement about this, that would be good. Hang on. I just heard it. I just heard it being reported right as I came on the air. So I want to see. I'm not even sure. Let me see if I can find it. Because McCabe is pretty angry about this. Oh, here we go. Hang on a second. I don't know who this person is, but I believe this is okay. Here it is. ABC News Politics has it. A statement from Andrew McCabe. Thank you, Ottoman Maldonado, for the donation. Thank you. Okay, let me first... I kind of want to get the statement from McCabe, but let me first talk about the firing for a second. Then we'll talk about McCabe's statement. But if you haven't heard McCabe's statement, it's quite interesting. So let's just talk about some of the details of the firing. Andrew McCabe, you can see here, this is the New York Times article. A target of Trump's FBI scorn is fired over candor questions. And the article says that McCabe, the former deputy director of the FBI, was fired Friday after Jeff Sessions, Attorney General Jeff Sessions, rejected an appeal that would have let him retire this weekend. McCabe promptly declared that his firing and Mr. Trump's persistent needling were intended to undermine the special counsel's investigation in which he is a potential witness. We'll get to McCabe's statement in a second. Here's the reason given, supposedly, why he's being fired. Mr. McCabe is accused in a yet-to-be-released internal report of failing to be forthcoming about a conversation he authorized between FBI officials and a journalist. And this is all a little bit murky. I've been reading some articles trying to get details about this, and it's not entirely clear. The report isn't out yet, so we don't know what's in the report. And it's not entirely clear to me what he was telling what these reporters said. But from what I can gather, the Wall Street Journal was working on an article about the FBI and investigations into Hillary Clinton. I believe it was into the Clinton Foundation. And I think what might have happened, don't hold me to this, and it's not even clear yet. I haven't even seen clearly described anywhere. But I think what may have happened is Andrew McCabe was getting... This is my understanding, that in the article, some people in the FBI were accusing Andrew McCabe of stopping or slowing down or hindering investigation into Hillary Clinton or the Clinton Foundation. And I believe it was the Clinton Foundation and not the Clinton email, but I might be wrong about that. But anyways, Andrew, I think what might have happened is the Wall Street Journal is writing this article. There are some people in the FBI saying Andrew McCabe is keeping this investigation from Hillary Clinton from going forward. And I think what happened is Andrew McCabe might have authorized some people at the FBI to talk to the Wall Street Journal so that they could give his side to the story. Because in the story, it says some people, it also quotes some unnamed people in the FBI who defend McCabe and say that he was actually helping push the investigation and not slowing down the investigation. So anyways, I believe the general idea here is that Andrew McCabe authorized FBI employees to talk to the Wall Street Journal to get his side of the story out there in an article about an FBI investigation. The problem was supposedly that the investigation wasn't public yet, and so Andrew McCabe was not supposed to encourage FBI employees to speak about a not public investigation. And then the bigger issue, I guess, is that he was misleading supposedly to FBI investigators when they investigated all of this. So that's at least my best understanding of it right now. But we don't have the FBI report yet that accuses McCabe of this being misleading. That's supposed to come out soon. Let's see. So in a statement released late Friday, that's tonight, Jeff Sessions said that McCabe had shown a lack of candor under oath on multiple occasions. This is from Jeff Sessions tonight. He says Jeff Sessions said, the FBI expects every employee to adhere to the highest standards of honesty, integrity, and accountability. I have terminated the employment of Andrew McCabe effective immediately. And Andrew McCabe talked to the New York Times tonight, and Andrew McCabe was blunt, the New York Times says. The idea that I was dishonest is just wrong, he said, adding, this is just part of an effort to discredit me as a witness. So we really have two sides here. We have the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, saying McCabe was misleading to investigators, therefore we're going to fire him, and that's why we're firing him. And we have Andrew McCabe saying, no, they're not really firing me because I was misleading to investigators. They're really firing me because they're trying to discredit me as a witness in the Mueller investigation. That's McCabe's view. Now let me show you this. FBI disciplinary officials did recommend McCabe's dismissal, according to the New York Times. McCabe, who stepped down in January and took a leave of absence, denied the accusation and appealed this week to senior career officials in the Justice Department. Lack of candor is a fireable offense at the FBI. But Mr. McCabe's last-minute dismissal was carried out against a highly politicized backdrop. So the big debate you're going to hear about this is, should McCabe really have been fired for this lack of candor, or is this firing a politically motivated firing by the Trump administration? That's going to be the debate you hear in the news and the media and among pundits about this. And a little background on McCabe relevant to this witness stuff we've been talking about. Mr. McCabe was among the first at the FBI to scrutinize possible Trump campaign ties to Russia, and he is a potential witness to the question of whether Mr. Trump tried to obstruct justice. Mr. Trump has taunted Mr. McCabe both publicly and privately, and Republican allies have cast him as the center of a deep state effort to undermine the Trump presidency. As a witness in the Mueller investigation, Mr. McCabe would be in a position to corroborate the testimony of James Comey, who kept notes on his conversations with Mr. Trump. Mr. Comey said Mr. Trump prodded him to publicly exonerate the president on a question of Russian collusion and encouraged him to shut down the investigation into General Flynn, his national security advisor. In a statement released by his lawyers, Mr. McCabe said his firing was part of Mr. Trump's ongoing war with the FBI. You know, I want to read Andrew McCabe's statement here. We have the actual statement, so let's get to his statement. So And thank you, Ace Trades. Ace Trades made a donation, said, for you, RSBN, you guys are the greatest. Thank you, Ace Trades. Yeah, we do rely on your donations to stay on the air. So if you'd like to donate to us during the broadcast or any broadcast, you can always go to the bottom of the YouTube chat, click on the $ sign at the bottom of the YouTube chat, or go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Okay, for those of you just joining the stream, let me just summarize what's going on. Andrew McCabe had already stepped down previously as deputy director of the FBI. So he was not acting as deputy director, but he was technically still employed by the FBI. He was allowed to retire with full benefits on Sunday, because Sunday he was turning 50 years old. So he was planning on retiring on Sunday, but tonight, less than 48 hours before his retirement, Jeff Sessions fired Andrew McCabe. Now, Jeff Sessions says this is because Andrew McCabe was not honest with FBI investigators when they were asking about his telling FBI, when they were asking McCabe about his authorizing FBI employees to talk to the Wall Street Journal for a Wall Street Journal article. But McCabe thinks this is a politically motivated firing. And what I want to talk about now is McCabe's statement is pretty angry. So I want to read you his statement. We actually have it here. FBI, ABC has the statement here. So let me read you the statement. It's so big here. Can I shrink it somehow and get it on the screen? Let me see if I can make this a little easier here. Okay, that'll help. All right, so here's the statement by Andrew McCabe. It's 2 pages long, but let's read through it, shall we? So Andrew McCabe says, I have been an FBI special agent for over 21 years. I spent half that time investigating Russian organized crime as a street agent and supervisor in New York City. You know, before I want to just check the audio, make the audio is okay. Can you hear
Andrew
me?
McCabe says,
yes, you can hear me. All right, sorry, I want to make
sure.
All right, let's continue. All right, let's start again. This is a statement by Andrew McCabe. I have been an FBI special agent for over 21 years. I spent half that time investigating Russian organized crime as a street agent and supervisor in New York City. I have spent the second half of my career focusing on national security issues and protecting this country from terrorism. I served in some of the most challenging, demanding, investigative, and leadership roles in the FBI, and I was privileged to serve as deputy director during a particularly tough time. For the last year and a half, my family and I have been the targets of an unrelenting assault on our reputation and my service to this country. Articles too numerous to count have leveled every sort of false, defamatory, and degrading allegation against us. The president's tweets have amplified and exacerbated it all. He called for my firing. He called for me to be stripped of my pension after more than 20 years of service. And all along, we have said nothing, never wanting to distract from the mission of the FBI by addressing the lies told and repeated about us. So in this statement tonight, Andrew McCabe is calling out the president. All right, so let's continue with the statement. He continues, no more. So now we'll see some more of, I was telling you this is an angry statement. I'll keep reading here. McCabe says, the investigation by the Justice Department's Office of Inspector General has to be understood in the context of the attacks on my credibility. The investigation flows from my attempt to explain the FBI's involvement in my supervision of investigations involving Hillary Clinton. I was being portrayed in the media over and over as a political partisan, accused of closing down investigations under political pressure. The FBI was portrayed as caving under that pressure and making decisions for political rather than law enforcement purposes. Nothing was further from the truth. In fact, this entire investigation stems from my efforts, fully authorized under FBI rules, to set the record straight on behalf of the Bureau and to make clear that we were continuing an investigation that people in the Department of Justice opposed. Let me get down to the bottom of the page here. The OIG investigation has focused on information I chose to share with a reporter through my public affairs officer and as a legal counselor. I was only one of a few people who had the authority to do that. It was not a secret. It took place over several days, and others, including the director, were aware of the interaction with the reporter. It was the type of exchange with the media that the deputy director oversees several times per week. In fact, it was the same type of work that I continued to do under Director Wray at his request. The investigation subsequently focused on who I talked to, when I talked to them, and so forth. During these inquiries, I answered questions truthfully and as accurately as I could amidst the chaos that surrounded me. And when I thought my answers were misunderstood, I contacted investigators to correct them. So here in this paragraph, McCabe is denying that he did anything wrong. McCabe is denying that he misled FBI investigators. And it's a little tough to get the whole picture here because, again, the FBI report, the internal investigation report that accuses McCabe of being dishonest to investigators has not been released yet. So we're not totally positive exactly what they accused him of. But he's responding to it here and he's saying, I did nothing wrong. Hey, let's get to the second page of his statement. There's a whole other page of his statement. Let me just get it on the screen for you. Okay, here's page two of McCabe's statement tonight. There it is. Okay. Let's go to page 2. Continuing here, but looking at that in isolation completely misses the big picture. So what he's saying here is, look, I'm not guilty of what I'm being accused of, but that's not the big picture. Here's what he says the big picture is. The big picture, says McCabe, is a tale of what can happen to when law enforcement is politicized, public servants are attacked, and people who are supposed to cherish and protect our institutions become instruments for damaging those institutions and people. Here is the reality, says Andrew McCabe. I am being singled out and treated this way because of the role I played, the actions I took, and the events I witnessed in the aftermath of the firing of James Comey. The release of this report was accelerated only after my testimony to the House Intelligence Committee revealed that I would corroborate former Director Comey's accounts of his discussions with the president. The OIG's focus on me and this report became an unprecedented effort by the administration, driven by the president himself, to remove me from my position, destroy my reputation, and possibly strip me of a pension that I worked 21 years to earn. The accelerated release of the report and the punitive actions taken in response make sense only when viewed through this lens. Thursday's comments from the White House are just the latest example of this. So to clarify here, Andrew McCabe is saying here, this is why I'm being fired. I'm not being fired because I did something wrong that people from the FBI normally would be fired for. He's saying President Trump is directing me to be fired because he knows I can confirm what the conversation President Trump had with Director Comey's discussions with the president. So presumably there he's talking about, for example, when the president talked to Comey about, laying off or going easy on General Flynn. But he's saying the reason that I'm being fired tonight is not because I did something wrong and that's something that somebody from the FBI deserves to be fired for. He's saying President Trump is directing me to be fired to destroy my reputation because he knows I can be a witness to the Mueller investigation, perhaps helping Mueller charge President Trump with obstruction of justice. So that's what he's saying here. He's really saying that. He's saying I'm being singled out and treated this way because of the role I played, the actions I took, and the events I witnessed in the aftermath of the firing of James Comey. So he's saying driven by the president himself. The OIG's focus of me in this report, driven by the president himself. So he's accusing President Trump of causing him to be fired to undermine him as a witness, his credibility as a witness in the Mueller investigation. That's what he says here. All right, let's finish up Andrew McCabe's statement. He says, this attack on my credibility is one part of a larger effort not just to slander me personally, but to taint the FBI, law enforcement, and intelligence professionals more generally. It is part of this administration's ongoing war on the FBI and the efforts of this special counsel investigation, which continue to this day. Their persistence in this campaign only highlights the importance of the special counsel's work. So again, McCabe is casting his firing as part of President Trump's attack on the FBI, law enforcement, and intelligence professionals and the Mueller investigation. That's what McCabe is saying. Here's the end of McCabe's statement. He says, I have always prided myself on serving my country with distinction and integrity, and I always encourage those around me to do the same. Just ask them. To have my career end in this way and to be accused of lacking candor when at worst I was distracted in the midst of chaotic events is incredibly disappointing and unfair. But it will not erase the important work I was privileged to be a part of, the results of which in the end will be revealed for the country to see. I have unfailing faith in the men and women of the FBI, and I'm confident that their efforts to seek justice will not be deterred. So that's the statement from Andrew McCabe, an angry statement accusing President Trump of orchestrating his firing for political reasons, not for the stated reasons of the firing. Hey, thank you for Ruby Tuesday and Helena M. Both made donations. Ruby Tuesday says, thank you, RSBN, for covering real news. And Helena M. says, unemployment line, McCabe, you did good sessions, MAGA. Thank you for the donations. That's what keeps us on the air. So, I want to know what you think about this firing tonight. You can write to me at Lookner on Twitter, at LOOKNER on Twitter. We're going to read your comments very shortly in a couple moments here. But first, for people joining the stream a little late, a lot of information here. So let me just summarize before we get to your comments what happened tonight. So Jeff Sessions fired Andrew McCabe tonight. And you know what would be great if I had, the one thing I haven't read actually is Jeff Sessions' statement. I'd love to get that. I don't even know. Here it is. Here is Jeff Sessions' statement. Here it is. Oh, maybe let me move up this statement so you can see it. So I'll read Jeff Sessions' statement. It's shorter than McCabe's, and then I'll summarize everything. So here's what Jeff Sessions said tonight. He says, After an extensive and fair investigation and according to Department of Justice procedure, the department's Office of the Inspector General, OIG, provided its report on allegations of misconduct by Andrew McCabe to the FBI's Office of Professional Responsibility. The FBI's OPR then reviewed the report and underlying documents and issued a disciplinary proposal recommending the dismissal of Mr. McCabe. Both the OIG and FBI OPR reports concluded that Mr. McCabe had made an unauthorized disclosure to the news media and lacked candor, including under oath on multiple occasions. The FBI expects every employee to adhere to the highest standards of honesty, integrity, and accountability. As the OPR proposal stated, all FBI employees know that lacking candor under oath results in dismissal and that our integrity is our brand. Pursuant to Department Order 1202 and based on the report of the Inspector General, the findings of the FBI Office of Professional Responsibility, and the recommendation of the department's senior career official, I have terminated the employment of Andrew McCabe, effective immediately. So to sum up, we're going to get to your comments in a second. Let's sum up what happened. Andrew McCabe had, I think it was a few weeks ago, a month ago, sometime around that, he had stepped down as deputy director of the FBI. But he was still technically employed by the FBI. He was going to retire on Sunday, because Sunday he's turning 50 years old and he can retire. You can retire at 50 with full benefits, full pension. Tonight, though, Attorney Jeff Sessions fired Andrew McCabe, and we just heard Jeff Sessions' reasoning why. He said basically McCabe lacked candor, made an unauthorized disclosure to the news media, and lacked candor to investigators who were investigating this, internal investigators. So that's why Jeff Sessions said he fired Andrew McCabe. So Andrew McCabe stands to lose a bunch of his pension from this, I believe. I saw a quote about this before. Let me see if I can find it real quick. The New York Times says he was eligible for a government pension if he retired on Sunday. The firing jeopardizes that benefit, although it was not immediately clear how much he might lose. Anyways, so now in response, as we just saw, McCabe released a statement saying, basically, I'm not being fired because I lacked candor and because I misled people and because of what I did at the FBI. He said, I'm being fired because Donald Trump is leading this campaign to discredit me as a witness in the Mueller investigation. And he's also leading a candidate to attack on the FBI and intelligence officials, and I think he said law enforcement, I'm not sure. But anyways, so he's basically saying, McCabe, the reason I'm firing is not the stated reason that Jeff Sessions gave for firing me. It's because this is a political attack on me designed to undermine credibility in me as a Mueller investigation witness against President Trump. That's what McCabe said tonight. So a lot going on here. What do you think about this? All right, I've been talking for too long, just trying to summarize everything. What do you think about this? Write to me on Twitter, @Lookner. Let me know what you think about this firing tonight. And let's see. Ryan Lovesey said, I think you gave me a donation, said my tweet @Lookner might be the best. I'm not sure what exactly, it's a bit ambiguous. There are different ways to read that, Ryan, but we appreciate you donating. So thank you, Ryan. Let's see here. All right, I'm going to check my messages now, see what you guys have to say about this. Let's see. Oh, by the way, CNN reported tonight, Pamela Brown on CNN was saying, Andrew McCabe found out about this when I called either McCabe or McCabe's representatives asking for a comment. So Pamela Brown said he did not find out this from like somebody calling him about this from like the Justice Department. He found out about this from the news media. She said herself. So anyways, let's see. I tweeted that out and Release the Truce wrote me wrong. He found out via 8chan and a wink emoticon. Dennis Casey says McCabe will never see jail time take his pension. Will James Robertson writes in, great job, glad Sessions fired McCabe, need to further drain the swamp. Undead Bill Clinton writes in, thankfully the mainstream media got the fact that McCabe was fired correct. You know they have trouble with complicated things like email dates and who was in charge of torture. Hashtag drain the swamp. And Sotiri Dimpanudis wanted to remind us that President Trump tweeted this out 3 months ago. When reports initially came out a few months ago that Andrew McCabe was planning on retiring as soon as his full benefits would kick in, and President Trump sent that tweet out, FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe is racing the clock to retire with full benefits. 90 days to go. And so President Trump has, well, Attorney General Sessions ordered the firing of McCabe tonight. It's no word yet on how much of a role President Trump had to play in this. Andrew McCabe seems to think that President Trump played the decisive role in this firing tonight. All right, let's see what else you guys have to say. David wrote me, reading McCabe's statement, and I'm over here wanting to punch McCabe as hard as I can in his tiny, I won't say it. Thank you, David, for writing in, though. T. Vogel, I had tweeted out, CNN said McCabe found out he was fired tonight from news reports, and T. Vogel wrote, you mean they actually interrupted their Stormy Daniels segment? So we are taking your comments on the air here about Andrew McCabe's being fired tonight by Jeff Sessions. Swoosh for Trump says McCabe is going to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Now, I don't even know, by the way, I don't even know if McCabe even committed a crime. I believe that his lack of candor to FBI investigators is considered a fireable offense, but that could just be a violation of workplace policy. You can have a violation of workplace policy, which is a fireable offense, which is not a crime. I could have a workplace, for example, that doesn't let me, bring food into the office after hours. And I say I do that, and they could say you're fired. Now, I haven't committed a crime. I've just violated workplace rules. So I've heard nothing. I don't know what the deal is with if they determine he lacked candor to internal investigators. Is that a crime? Is it punishable by jail time? I don't know. All I know is it is a fireable offense, which at least means it's a workplace policy violation, but I'm not clear on the specifics of what is it a violation of workplace policy? It is a crime? I don't know. Rocky Sanchez writes in, the world is watching, and for those fighting against tyranny, tyrants, NWO, deep state, the swamp, know that tonight law and order is back in America, and this is just the beginning. Good will prevail over evil. Reagan Better says McCabe will likely sue to get pension. Now, I thought I did say something about, I did see something about maybe McCabe challenging the stuff about the pension. Let me see if I can find something about that, Eric. Hang on. I'm going to the Washington Post article because I think they said something about it, so I'm just signing in here. Let's see. Does the Post article say anything about this, the pension stuff? Okay. Retirement. Yes, so here it is. The Post says, Washington Post, the move will likely cost McCabe a significant portion of his retirement benefits, though it is possible he could bring a legal challenge. I know nothing about the law about relating to that kind of stuff, so we would need a lawyer who specializes in that to really get some perspective on that. Let's see here. Benji Cowger writes in, fund the wall with McCabe's pension and put his name on the wall section he funded. Jimmy Wilkes, realtor, says lying under oath is a crime. So in Jeff Sessions, you're right, Jimmy, that in Jeff Sessions' statement tonight, he did say that an internal investigation, a report from that investigation, said that McCabe was misleading under oath. Let me go to Jeff Sessions' statement again, just to show you this. And you're saying lying under oath is a crime. Again, I don't want to speak to the law without really knowing it. But let me get Sessions' statement here. Hang on one sec. I also want to see, did I tweet out? I really should tweet out McCabe's statement as well. If I didn't, I don't know if I did. Let's see. Yes, I did. Okay. So the Sessions statement, says both the OIG, Department of Justice Office Office of Inspector General, and the FBI Office of Professional Responsibility reports concluded, he says, that Mr. McCabe had made unauthorized disclosure to the news media and lacked candor, including under oath, on multiple occasions. Now, lacking candor is interesting. It would seem that lacking candor is a specific term. And I'm guessing maybe lacking candor in the legal world means something different than lying. Because lying, I'm guessing, means knowingly and intentionally saying something false to investigators. Whereas lacking candor, I'm guessing, is maybe you don't say something false, but you're not as forthcoming with information as you would be expected to be given a certain question. So he, technically speaking, this doesn't say he lied under oath. This says he lacked candor under oath. I don't know if that's a crime or not. I just don't know. Interesting question, though. I've heard nothing, but I've heard nothing. I don't know if it's a crime, and I've heard nothing saying charges will be fired. All I've heard is that charges will be filed. All I've heard is that he's been fired. And that's all Jeff Sessions said. JC writes in, Steve, I trust the plan. Thank you for your hard work, and thank you, RSBN. Thank you, JC. I forgot to thank the moderators. Moderating tonight, we have JC in the YouTube chat room, Common Sense and Gleno on the website, and Lynn Jean is moderating as well. We appreciate your hard work, moderators. And if you like having an alternative besides the mainstream media to tune in for your news like this, we hope you consider donating to Right Side Broadcasting because we are viewer supported. We make very little money from ad revenue. YouTube tends to call a lot of our broadcasts unsuitable for most advertisers. I wouldn't be surprised if they labeled this broadcast as that as well. So really, we're only able to stay on the air thanks to your support. So if you want to donate to Right Side Broadcasting, you can go to the bottom of the YouTube chat, click on the dollar sign at the bottom of the YouTube chat, or go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. And write to me. Let me know what you're thinking about this story. At Lookner on Twitter. I am at Lookner on Twitter. I post about breaking news all the time as well. If you like breaking news, you can follow me there too. I want to get to some more. I want to get some more of your comments. Let me do a quick news check here. I would kind of like, I want to see if there's any other like reaction coming out to this. Let's see here. Okay, so a little disagreement about how McCabe found out about this tonight. Betsy Woodruff tweets out, McCabe says he found out he was fired from the press statement about it. Department of Justice spokesman says he was informed in advance of the press. Disagreement there. Okay, let's see if there's any other updates about this that just came out. So Rachel Maddow tweeted out talking about, sort of summarizing McCabe's point of view here. And she says, if McCabe is right that these actions against him are intended to discredit him as a corroborating witness for Comey's account of his firing, then the invective and taunting by the president have a purpose. Make sure McCabe will be seen as having a good reason to hold a grudge versus the president. So, again, to summarize, Jeff Sessions' statement tonight says, look, we fired McCabe because he well, I'll tell you what the Sessions said. I can show you. He says, McCabe made an unauthorized disclosure to the news media and lacked candor, including under oath, on multiple occasions. Lacked candor to internal investigators. And he says that's why he was fired. And he says the FBI's Office of Professional Responsibility recommended Mr. McCabe being dismissed. So he's saying, look, McCabe's being dismissed because he messed up and he violated policy, which is in a way that was a fireable offense. So that's what Sessions is saying. McCabe, on the other hand, is arguing. He argues in his statement he thinks this is not the reason he was fired. He talked about in his statement. He talks about there's a bigger picture here. As I said before. Where does he say big picture? Yeah, so he says, like, if you see here, it says, but looking at that in isolation misses the big picture. The big picture is a tale of what can happen when law enforcement is politicized, public servants are attacked, and people who are supposed to cherish and protect our institutions become instruments for damaging those institutions and people. He says in the next paragraph, he's saying the president himself is driving this effort to remove me from my position, destroy my reputation, possibly strip me of a pension that I worked 21 years to earn. And he's saying that this is because he could be a witness to corroborate Comey's accounts of his discussions with the president. So really what he's saying here is that the president's trying to undermine my credibility, destroy my reputation because I could testify against him to the Mueller Commission. So we got a couple different camps on what's the cause of this firing tonight. Sessions says, hey, he violated regulations. He should be fired. McCabe is saying, no, I'm being fired to discredit me as a witness to the Mueller investigation. Some other people might say he's being fired by President Trump because President Trump has a grudge against McCabe. Some of you might remember, President Trump has always been upset, has been upset for the last year or so. He's tweeted about this, where he is upset at McCabe because McCabe's wife ran for state office in Virginia and took several $100,000 from Terry McAuliffe's, a group led by Terry McAuliffe, who is an ally of the Clintons. And then McCabe, after this happened, ended up running either one or overseeing, I think was it the Clinton email investigation or the Clinton Foundation investigation? I forget which one. I think the Clinton email one. But whatever, he was involved in at least one of the Clinton investigations, if not both. I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact facts on this. But President Trump was very upset that he didn't recuse himself because his wife, President Trump thinks, was given all this money by an ally of Hillary Clinton. And then you have McCabe, overseeing this investigation into Hillary Clinton. So President Trump was not happy with that. He's made that known. So some people might look at this firing and say, hey, it's President Trump has a grudge against Andrew McCabe. Whereas Sessions is saying, no, this was done by the book. He committed a fireable offense. He's being fired for it. But again, 2 days before he was supposed to retire with full benefits, fired tonight Apparently, he's going to lose a significant amount of his benefits because he was fired and didn't just retire at age 50. It was his 50th birthday on Sunday. That's when he was supposed to retire. Okay, what do you think about this? Oh, we got a donation. I want to say thank you to Tom Crago Jr. Sorry, Tom Crago Jr. Tom, thank you so much for your donation. We appreciate it. So write to me. Let me know what you think about this firing tonight. I want to get your opinion. I'm on Twitter, @Lookner on Twitter, @Lookner on Twitter. That's where to reach me. George Lane says, any indications that this indicates a fresh start of investigations into Hillary Clinton? None whatsoever, George. I've heard nothing about that. West Virginia Bot wanted me to read this tweet from Mike Cernovich, who said, Mike Cernovich is a conservative reporter and commentator. He said, do you really believe that someone would lose a pension for talking to a reporter? No, that's not what happened. McCabe was fired for altering the 302s in Flynn's case, framing him for a crime. Will the IG make that public? We'll see. I can't speak to this. I know nothing about this, but that's a tweet from Mike Cernovich tonight. Robert Woods sent me this. Trump saying bye-bye. Brian Rosenberger says, lacking candor, which Sessions accused McCabe of, lacking candor means he was not fair, impartial, or even-handed in his testimony, according to the online legal dictionary. Hey, that's a good idea that you looked that up. I want to look that up too. Lacking candor, legal. Where is it? Lack of candor. I can't find a definition of it. I'm sure there is one, but I don't know enough about the. I also don't know how, whatever the definition is, I don't know how it's actually enforced either, this whole lack of candor thing. So I'm sure it has a specialized meaning in certain contexts, and I don't know what that is. But that's what he was. Sessions didn't say he lied. He said he lacked candor on multiple occasions, including under oath. Let's get to some more of your comments here. Ronnie Mercer writes in, if McCabe is upset now, just wait until they indict his sorry butt. Dude couldn't have collected his pension from prison anyway. No, I have no indications that he's going to be indicted for anything yet, by the way. I'm sorry, I have to pour myself some more water. For those of you who joined late, as I mentioned before, I have been ill the last couple of days with a cough. So I apologize that I am coughing every so often. I'm doing my best not to, but can't really avoid it. Ophelia writes in, it's March Madness, yay, lock him up. Jimmy Wilkes Realtor says, how did McCabe give such an in-depth rebuttal while the press was reporting? Jimmy, this is an excellent question. I love this question, Jimmy. It's excellent. So Jimmy, what Jimmy is saying is, look, McCabe was fired. This news came out at around 10 p.m. It came out around 10 p.m. tonight. And within minutes, there was this 2-page statement put out by McCabe. I mean, look at this statement here. It's huge. We read it before. And you're saying, Jimmy Wilkes Realtor, well, how did he put the statement out so fast? Now, I'm guessing, Jimmy, to answer your excellent question, that McCabe thought it was entirely possible he would be fired. A couple of days ago, there were stories out about this saying McCabe might be fired before he retires and not receive his full pension. So I'm guessing McCabe thought that might be the case and prepared this statement in advance. It's very interesting, though, that it came out right as, I mean, it seemed like almost immediately after Sessions fired him, this statement came out. But a very good question, Jimmy. Excellent question. This was sent to me by Never Ending NRA. It's a GIF of Vince McMahon saying, you're fired. Based Melissa says, just when I was starting to lose hope, Sessions goes and brings me back to MAGA. Sarah and Melissa for Trump all the way. Peak Liberalism sent me this, and it says, McCabe isn't going to lose his pension unless he's convicted of a crime under this statute. Now, I'm not sure about that, peak liberalism, and also I don't know what the FBI might have specific FBI regulations about about how their pensions work. So I tend to not like, I like getting into like legal technicalities here at sometimes, but I feel like if I just look at that statute, I have no idea if that's like the only relevant statute here, if there are other civil service regulations involved. I couldn't know less about that. Let's see here. This is a meme here I will show you. Hang on a second. That was sent to me by Maxi Friend. Maxi Friend sent me that. It is Comey and McCabe. Virtual Frog writes in, McCabe is sure to have a very nice position lined up in the corporate world at a very nice pay grade. I do not disagree with you, Virtual Frog. This happens with people who do all sorts of things in government, prominent people. They can get these very nice positions in the private sector after. So I would not be shocked at all if he got that. Brian sent me a direction of candor from the legal dictionary, which says, I see your definition here. My thing is though, it's a bunch of synonyms, but I think with candor, what we're looking for, lack of candor. I'm guessing if there was if we had a lawyer here, what a lawyer would say is, okay, well, typically when you're accused of lack of candor, this is what it means, like how lawyers and attorneys usually use it and prosecutors usually use it. That doesn't give that context there. So I think if we had somebody from the FBI on and we could say, there's regulations against lack of candor in the FBI, what does that mean? They would explain it to us. And I'm not sure what that exactly means. Now, I'm not even aware, maybe it's used in lots of different types of legal cases, but again, I am not a lawyer. But these terms have very specific meanings. For example, negligence has a specific legal meaning. So I don't know what the specific legal meaning in that context of lack of candor is. I'm just guessing it's different from lying. Let's see here. Julian Assange tweeted out about this. Grands sent me this. So Julian Assange says, he just tweeted out at 11:05, 10 minutes ago. Thank you, Grand, for sending this to me. FBA's Andrew McCabe fired, this one. And it's a WikiLeaks tweet saying close Clinton ally gave $467,500 to wife of FBI Director Andrew McCabe, Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, who was investigating Clinton. So, that's from Julian Assange. Just tweeted that out 10 minutes ago. Nothing from President Trump yet, tweet-wise, I don't think. Edward Briley writes in, if anyone politicized this, it was McCabe. He should have recused himself from anything to do with President Trump's the investigation into President Trump, if not before. But at the time, his wife accepted a political donation from the DNC. I'm not sure if the one I know about is from Terry McAuliffe. That wasn't the DNC, by the way. I think it was a PAC, a super PAC or something that Terry McAuliffe was involved in or in charge of. He says, anyways, Edward says, MAGA AG Sessions for doing the right thing. Ronnie Mercer thinks when the IG report is released, McCabe will be indicted. Book it. So there was this report. So in Jeff Sessions' statement, he talks about, hang on, I had it here. Let me get it back up here. In the Sessions statement, he says that he based his firing on this report from the Justice Department's Office of Inspector General and the FBI's OPR disciplinary proposal. Okay, so the Office of Inspector General, the Justice Department's Office of Inspector General, they're the ones who investigated McCabe and issued this report that include allegations of misconduct by Andrew McCabe. That report itself, Jeff Sessions has read it. The FBI has seen it. We have not seen it yet. And what our viewer Ronnie Mercer says, I guess it'll be made public soon, I'm not sure. Our viewer Ronnie Mercer just wrote me and said, when the IG report is released, McCabe will be indicted, book it. I have no knowledge of this, but that's what Ronnie Mercer thinks will happen. I'm thinking maybe he will. First of all, I don't know if he committed a crime. Second of all, even if he did technically commit a crime, I think at this point maybe he wouldn't be indicted anyway because the Justice Department wouldn't want to be seen as going after him too hard. I mean, they've already fired him. So it's if they then charged him with a crime in 2 months, some people it might get people on who on the left incredibly angry at the Trump administration. So maybe they just wouldn't do it. But I don't know if he's committed a crime. I don't know. Virtual Frog says, lack of candor is someone holding back and not telling the whole story. Not a lie, just holding information back. And I think that's the general idea. That's how we use it in general language. I just was wondering if there's a special way they use it. I'm sure there's a specific way they use it when they're using it in a legal context, and I don't know what that is. Stephen Schrock writes in, St. Patrick slays another dragon. Bye bye McCabe. Looks like Strzok and Page are singing. Anastasia, you sent me a tweet, but I think you're talking about Strzok and not McCabe in your tweet. Posse Tracks writes, McCabe needs to go away, lick his wounds, and be glad they never took off the kid gloves. Rob Starkey made a donation. Thank you, Rob. Rob says, let the purge begin. Thanks, RSBN. Drain the swamp. Samuel Tadlock writes in, McCabe is a central figure in Russian, Clinton, and deep state possible crimes. The firing is opening the doors to himself and others having charges filed, better convicted than a witness. Anastasia says, I don't think you've researched this. He's a traitor and is going to come out soon. Law and order is coming back to our country finally. One more down and many to go. Boom. If you can keep it, says, a lengthy statement prepared in advance, lots of finger pointing, but I did not hear a clear denial of the reasons for his dismissal. So let's look at it. Yeah, well, he did. McCabe did deny that he should have, that the accusations. And you can see this here. I'll show it to you again. Let me show you. There's one paragraph where McCabe denies it in his statement. Thank you, Flying Eagle, for the donation, by the way. So in that last paragraph here on the first page, he says, as deputy director, I was one of only a few people who had the authority to do that. He tells what he did, and he says, in this whole paragraph, he says that he didn't do anything wrong, and everything he did was legal. Now, I'm not going to read it all over again, but if you want, you just go to his statement, and I posted his statement on my Twitter, @Lookner, and just read the last paragraph of the first page. So he denies that he did anything, committed a fireable offense. Jimmy Wilkes, realtor, writes, my opinion, lack of candor is how McCabe won't be prosecuted and allowed to keep his pension after he testifies against his superiors in the near prosecutions, just like Hillary wasn't grossly negligent. Now, I don't see any sign of McCabe testifying against anyone in the FBI because in his statement tonight, he said that President Trump, the Trump administration, is attacking the FBI, and he stood by the FBI. So I would be shocked if McCabe testified against somebody in the FBI after releasing that statement. Joe sent me something very interesting about the NCAA tournament, but I don't want to be spoiler. If any of you are recording a game, I can't even read it because I don't want to spoil a game for any of you or any of the games going on, past or present. So I'm not going to even talk about it at all. But thank you, Joe. Yeah, I saw some people posting about that. Okay, we are taking your comments on the air. We'll be on for a couple more minutes. So if you have comments about this Andrew McCabe being fired, what do you think about it? Are you for it? Are you against it? Let me know. Write to me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. Feel free to follow me as well if you like breaking news. Also, a quick hello to everybody watching on our different platforms. Hello to YouTube. Thank you, JC and Lynn Jean, for moderating the chat room there. Hello to Periscope. Hello to Facebook. Hello to people watching us on Twitter. We are at all those places. You can follow us at those places. RSB Network on Twitter. Periscope, we're RSBN TV. Facebook, Right Side Broadcasting. YouTube, Right Side Broadcasting. Click the notifications bell when you subscribe to us on YouTube. Maybe you'll get lucky and get a notification sometime. Tabby Cat in Periscope's comment about this story is good. Well, we have a comment from Adam Schiff, who is the Democratic ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee. Adam Schiff says, in the absence of the IG report, it's impossible to evaluate the merits of this harsh treatment of a 21-year FBI professional. That it comes after the president urged the Department of Justice to deprive McCabe of his pension, and after his testimony gives the action an odious taint. So Adam Schiff has some negative things to say about this firing tonight. Well, he says it has an odious taint, but he says it's impossible to evaluate the merits of it. So it seems like Adam Schiff is still open to this being a justified firing, but he says it has an odious taint. This, on the other hand, is from a New York Republican Congressman, Lee Zeldin, who said, decisive, appropriate, timely action by Jeff Sessions to fire Andrew McCabe. DOJ, FBI are legendary, historic, important agencies, filled with amazing men and women held to the highest standards. McCabe was a ringleader of rogue actors who were a shameful exception at the top, not the norm. Thank you to all our moderators, including Common Sense and Gleno on the website. Roger Vega has now joined us on YouTube as a moderator, and JC and Lynn Jean, thank you. And thank you to those of you who donated. Really appreciate your donations. Your donations keep us on the air. We can't do this independent coverage without your support. If you want to donate, go to the bottom of the YouTube chat, click on the $ at the bottom of the YouTube chat, or go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. We want to keep being able to bring you more news coverage. If you can keep it, doesn't think that McCabe's statement would hold up as a legal defense. So I can't really speak to that. I'm not a lawyer. Billy Harris, I can't read your message because it's about the NCAA tournament and I don't want to spoil it for anybody. All right, let me just check this here. All right, I think at this point we are going to wrap up this stream. So if there's more news about this, more big news coming out this weekend, of course we will come on the air and cover it. So be sure to subscribe to us on our various platforms on YouTube, Right Side Broadcasting, Facebook, Right Side Broadcasting, RSB Network on Twitter, RSBN TV. Hopefully I won't have my cough by the end of the weekend. RSBN TV on Periscope. You can follow me on Twitter. I'll be updating this story and every other story that I read about throughout the evening and day on my Twitter. I'm at @Lookner on Twitter, @Lookner. And if there's big news coming later this weekend, of course, we'll come back on the air. So I want to say thank you to our moderators. Thank you, everybody who sent in your comments about this and let me read them on the air. Thank you to, who else? I don't know. Thank you to you for watching. Thank you to the donors. You know we appreciate the donors. They let us do that. Thank you for saying thanks in the chat room. We have people saying thanks like Joseph Centeno, Ron Stahlcup. I should get some chicken soup. Sanity Personified, Ray LaRusso, SS0238. This is bullshit. I don't wrap it up. I got to get a little rest. I was going to try to go to sleep early tonight so I could not be sick anymore. Lisa PDX, thank you. Davis Deaton, thank you. Inarticulate Cavazos. Swoosh. All the moderators. DM, Janine, Kay's Critters, Flying Eagle, Ryan. Cheyenne King made a donation. She said, finally get to show my love and support for you guys. That's very nice of you, Cheyenne. We really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me just check out. I haven't looked at the Facebook chat before we sign off. See what's been going on there real quick. Thank you, Jabry. Thank you, James Wolfe. Hey, wait. I don't want volume. Mickey Dudley in the Facebook chat says, feel better. Thank you, Mickey Dudley. Thank you, Jabry. Thank you. Hey, oh no. Why is the volume on? Bob Mayer in the chat, Facebook chat says, let McCabe work for Clinton Foundation. Thank you, Beverly Kay. Thank you, Rebecca McAtee. Thank you, Shane Bouvet. Tom Hayes says, Steve, try Ricola. They work great. Tom. I will say this. I'm very disappointed in Ricola because they have these lemon cough drops that look like translucent, and then I bought a big pack of them and they said lemon mint and they had a picture of the translucent yellow ones that I'd always had as the lemon ones, the lemon sugar-free ones. And then I opened the bag up and I opened one up and it's white and it tastes like crap. And apparently this lemon mint is some new flavor, but on the bag it's yellow translucent. Inside it's just white. So I thought that was very deceptive. All right, but now that has nothing to do with the stream. Anyways, all right, I'm going to wrap it up right now. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this stream. If you missed the stream, we read some articles about this. We summarized what happened. We read the full session statement and the full McCabe statement. So if you missed it, if you just joined us, go back, watch the whole stream. Watch from the beginning. You'll get all the details about this. So appreciate you guys joining us tonight, and I'm sure we'll see you later this weekend with some more news. But for now, I am Steve Lookner from all of us here at Right Side Broadcasting. Have a good night and a great weekend, and we'll see you soon here at RSBN.